Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphaname. So we're going to begin here on today with more Ripple and XRP news. Ripple continues to dominate, continues to be one of the absolute best long holds for, future healthy return on investments, and today is no different. The title goes as such: Ripple expands further to UK and Europe as modular NAB's new deal. So let's scroll down here and just read this little tidbit. This is on today. By the way, they have a lot of good Ripple articles today. Go buy them and check them out. They're doing a great job. And so it goes as such. As shared by the MD of RippleNet Europe, Cindy Young, RippleNet continues to expand as cross-border payments from Brazil, powered by Ripple and Modular, arrive in the UK and Europe. This is a great thing. We want that European money. We want those United Kingdom pounds. They are, developed nations who, the money flows very, very easily around them. They carry a lot of weight. When we're talking about basket currencies, they are some of the top currencies in the world. Of course, there has been a shift in currencies as the ruble has become extremely strong. I think they're back in the ruble with a little bit of gold now. But that's inaccessible. But I'm just showing you which ones are the top currencies in the world. US dollar, of course, UK and Europe, which the euro at the last time of my looking was a little bit stronger than the US dollar. I think a lot of the currencies were down at that particular time. I'm not sure if they're doing well again. I would think that they're not, because the world economies they're not doing so well. A lot of them are looking at, in my humble opinion, looking at stagflation. This is something they're going to have to deal with. I know Europe has taken very, very small steps against inflation and what could be coming stagflation, stagnated inflation, okay? Because they're concerned with what I was saying the other day, that the United States should be concerned with, which is deflation. They have to beware deflation and going into that opposite extreme, because it will be devastating. All right. Now, if you don't know what deflation is, you definitely go ahead and do your own research and look up what a deflationary period is and the negative effects of it, because Europe is very scared of that right now. But anyway, we want that European money. Now, let's continue more here. It says, according to a report by the FinTech Finance News website, a Brazilian fintech company, Remessa Online, has chosen Modular to accelerate cross-border payments across the UK and Europe. So there's so much to take from this article. Definitely go give it a read. Brazilian fintech company, there's more blockchain activity in Brazil. Stellar is now in Brazil and they have heavy operations there. Now you have Ripple. Obviously, Ripple is in Brazil. And you have Coinbank's, who uses Algorand in Brazil. Coinbank's headquarters, I believe, is in Buenos Aires. All right, muy linda, mi gente. I really, really want Coinbank's and Algorand to dominate in Brazil, in my humble opinion. And I think that's coming in the future. Their headquarters is there. So, if a lot of the Brazilian non-banking financial institutions and fintechs are going to be working with Ripple, some of them are working to a capacity with Stellar, I would think they definitely would work with Coinbank. Has been doing an amazing job. And their infrastructures are right now in Latin America, their infrastructures are second to none. And as far as interoperability, they have so many different pathways set up. I think that Algorand could definitely dominate in Brazil. But, we'll wait and we'll see how it's working out. But right now, Ripple is in Brazil. Ripple is in Europe. In the UK, they are doing a fantastic job setting up all of these corridors. And when they are online, obviously, that will have a great effect on the price of XRP. The more XRP that's used, and the more financial institutions, the more entities that use XRP, the higher that price can go. Right now, we're just looking at the setups. It takes time to set up the new financial system. Now, I know a lot of you XRP veterans out there, you XRP immortals, as I like to call you. You know these things, but there's a lot of new people coming into crypto right now, coming into XRP. They might not know this. So we have to educate them, all right? Help them out a little bit. Here's the actual tweet. It says, RippleNet continues to expand fast, seamless, cost-effective payments from Brazil to UK and Europe, powered by Ripple and Modular. So this is a very good development. And of course, I expect this to expand. Understand that every time we hear about a new partnership, a new deal, it's only the beginning. It's not where they will end. They will continue to advance the capacity to which XRP will be used, or Ripple or XRPL will be used. Things will continue to grow and expand, and it is the same for the money. As those innovations grow and expand, the money logically would grow and expand. It just makes logical sense. So let's go here and go to another article. This one is also on u.today. As I said before, they are on fire. Make sure you go over to u.today and check out their articles. Doing a great job over there. It says, what does Ripple X and PayString integration mean for privacy and Web3? Now, I want to just jump right into this and say that a lot of the governments around the world, as well as central banks as well, and I'm pretty sure commercial banks behind the scenes, are concerned with like KYC, know your customer, ID, being able to know who's possibly using certain crypto for illicit activities. Now, how does that affect Ripple? Of course, Ripple being one of the biggest payment service providers, one of the biggest non-banking financial institutions, agnostic bridge currency liquidity provider, all of these things, they have to make sure this can't be used against them. All right. And they don't want anything held against them that could slow down that money. And they don't need a government coming to them saying, hey, listen, XRPL or RippleNet is being used for illicit activities. Absolutely not. So they have to have certain ID measures implemented, integrated within these various products. Right. And it has to sort of be across the board, even if they're modified a little bit, depending on who is going to be using them. It has to be across the board. So that way the information can be provided. So should any governmental entities come to you and require this information to be turned over to them, right? So that's just a necessary thing when you're dealing with the legacy system, because if you're going to act as an intermediary between the new financial system built on distributed ledger technology, as well as the legacy system, then you're going to sort of have to acquiesce to some of their demands. All right. So that's what I think about this. So, if you want to read that article, go over to u.today and give it a read. But just read this little sentence here. It says, crypto expert W. Kahneman has taken to Twitter to share that Ripple's integration with PayString digital payment solutions was a sign of the serious focus that the firm has put on digital ID solutions. Now, I mean, digital ID, what I said before is relevant, but also, you have a lot of unbanked individuals who also lack ID, right? And so in order for them to be able to interact with the new global economy that I think will come about. I mean, the old world will fall and the new world will rise. I think that that's what we're looking at. I could be completely wrong. But as the new financial system, in conjunction with the new global systems that they want to roll out as a whole, come to the forefront, rise, so to speak. People who are unbanked will now be able to have ID and interact with the economies in ways that they were not able to before because of those digital IDs. So this also can be used in that way, and it would be very, very good for a lot of people around the world if they choose and want to or desire to interact with the legacy systems or the new financial system to any capacity in the future. Okay, so now with that, let's move on here. And we have more big happenings out of Hbar. This is from the Hbar Foundation. It says, quote, there is this fundamental trade-off. You can't get around it. If you want the highest transactions per second and the best security, then you need something like Hashgraph. This was Mance Harmon of Hbar. Speaking where? Speaking to the Bank of America. This is huge. Now, what's interesting is it's that Ripple has a great relationship with the Bank of America. But as I said before, they're looking to implement MCBDCs, multi-central bank digital currencies, hybrid CBDCs. And now, I haven't heard about it in a long time, but also the new CBDC that they were discussing in the Bank of International Settlements documents, which was called the synthetic CBDC, whatever that's going to be. But anyway, because of that, digital currencies across the board will become, I think, MBDC-like, multi-digital currencies, okay? And so with Bank of America having a great relationship with Ripple, keep in mind they also won a contest using XLM. So XLM is in there with them. They're in the good graces of Bank of America. But now you see Hbar is developing a good relationship with Bank of America. If that is the case, I could see them using all of them for different things, right? XRP, interbank payments, of course. XLM, retail things, right? Then Hbar has the smart contract and the scalability second to none, right? I mean, I can see them bringing them in. So this is huge. I'll look forward to hearing more about any type of developments between Hedera and Bank of America. I believe Mance Harmon was speaking at a Bank of America event, all right? But this is absolutely great in my humble opinion. So now let's move on here to Vechain. Vechain has been constantly doing big things. As the other day, we talked about Vechain becoming the official, official blockchain sponsor of the UFC. They have a tweet here that literally shows the Vechain symbol on one of the posts in the octagon. That is huge. Right below it, you see ESPN Plus. Listen, this is one of the absolute best advertisements ever in blockchain ever. And that's difficult to say, but the scale of which, you know, how many people watch UFC, MMA? Which, by the way, you're probably thinking to yourself, Alphanine, who's your favorite? Not who's the greatest, but who's your favorite MMA fighters of all time? Listen, I got to go old school. Fedor Emelianenko, I'm talking about from Pride days, Pride FC. Anybody who actually watched Pride FC back then when Fedor was literally hunting guys down in the ring and just literally destroying them. I'm talking about back when Vanderlei Silva was the axe murderer, and he was just, I mean, he was absolutely amazing. But Pride rules were different, right? You get knee on the ground. There's so many things you could do that you couldn't do in the UFC that you could do in Pride. So anyway, Fedor Emelianenko is one of my absolute favorites of all time. Randy Couture, listen, he's a wrestler like me. One of my absolute favorites of all time as well. And I'll just stop right there with just two. Anyway, you guys got me here talking about UFC. Let's go back to Vechain. I know you guys like to have some fun. I'm blaming everything on you again. So then we have another tweet about Vechain. It says, this is from Adam T. Cook.eth. And it says this: there is no reason physical fashion pieces can't live on a blockchain and resell as NFTs with technologies like Veet at Vechain Official. This is going to change the game in the resale fashion market. I 100% agree with Adam Cook. This is, and you know, Vechain has already, and I don't know about reselling, but if you saw over time, Vechain, I believe there's a sneaker company using Vechain. There is a makeup company last year, a major makeup company in Asia that is using Vechain as well for traceability. And you had the shoe company, what was it, like 3 days ago, shoe company using Vechain for traceability. So this has already been established as possible, but for resale, I didn't think about resale. That is major money. And I would love for Vechain to get into that. And I'm sure that they will. But Vechain is doing extremely good. In the future, I expect Vechain to explode in because people have so much Vechain. It's not going to take a crazy price for people to become insanely rich off of Vechain. And you know, given what's going on in the world economies right now, I think that prices could go a little bit lower. Honestly, I really do. There's no guarantees, but I think prices could go lower if people want to scoop up certain things. I'm not telling you to go grab anything whatsoever. I'm just sharing my thoughts. That's all, in all humility, okay? But I think prices could go lower, so just prepare for that. And it's because of inflation, because of the misreading of certain inflation information, because of stagflation could be coming up. I believe that prices can go lower because of those reasons. So we'll keep an eye on these particular things. We'll keep an eye on monetary policy. That obviously we see now why that monetary policy affects the prices of everything. And, you know, we have more rate hikes coming. We'll have to wait to see what the European Central Bank wants to do also. So, yeah, I believe depending on what decisions are going to be happening with the central banks and governments very soon, prices of crypto could go a little bit lower. And if that's the case, I think people will be scraping up a whole lot more of everything, actually. And yeah, so it's not going to take a crazy price at this point for people to become very, very rich. I won't say wealthy, because the wealth will come when the central banks step in and those prices of the bank coins explode. And then, you know, of course, utility coins will rise because they're compliant, in my humble opinion, with regulatory clarity and mass adoption. Their prices will go up as well. But everything is looking absolutely great right now. And so just to close out, circle back to what I was saying before. Yeah, so it doesn't take a crazy price when it comes to, let's say, like XLM. People have a ton of XLM. It's not going to take a crazy price for them to be very, very rich off of XLM, very, very rich off XRP. But XRP is the generational wealth coin, right? So I think people will wait a little bit longer for the central banks. They won't just completely cash out when when the commercial banks step in and when the large financial institutions with cross-border payments, when they start dominating there and that price starts going up. I think when it comes to something like XRP, people are going to wait for that generational wealth. But it doesn't take a lot for people to become rich off something like Algorand, Hbar, because people have so much, right? The more coins you have, the easier it's going to be. And the lower that price has to be for you to see a healthy return on investment. So right now, with this particular setup and on these long holes, it's looking really, really good in my humble opinion. So until next time, let's get to the money.